This morning on the Jersey Central Newsmaker Hotline, here just to talk about a colleague of his who passed away suddenly last night, a state senator representing a district in South Jersey, Jim Whelan. With us here this morning just to share some thoughts is New Jersey State Senator serving Central New Jersey. Senator Joe Vitale is with us here on WCTC. Good morning, Senator. It's Burt Barron. How you doing?
Oh, Bert, good. How are you?
Good,
Sorry, this
good.
awful news about
Yeah.
Senator Whelan.
And thank
Just,
you for making yourself available this morning. But talk about your working relationship with Senator Whelan. Much like yourself, a hardworking guy that had the best interest of Jersey in mind day in and day out.
all the time. Let me tell you, I know a lot of us and your listeners and others, have opinions about elected officials and politicians, but I got to tell you, Jim Whelan was the real deal. He was the mayor of Atlantic City for a long period of time years ago, served in the General Assembly, and now in the Senate for many years. A real down-to-earth. He was a school teacher. He was, almost an Olympic swimmer, a long-distance swimmer in the ocean. I mean, he loved the ocean. He loved kids. He was a coach, a swim coach. He was a basketball coach, and he got involved in politics and in public service because he really. I mean, it sounds kind of hokey, but he cared about people. He cared about his communities, and he was. Just a good, decent person. His wife had health issues. He took care of her. She took care of him. It's a real great love story, but, and he was just a wonderful person. He served on my health committee, and he was always smart and thoughtful, didn't talk a lot. A lot of politicians talk a lot, have a lot to say. And Jim spoke up when he knew you crossed the line. When a special interest or a lobbyist or someone came and testified about, some issue, and once they crossed that line into Sillyville or were being dishonest, he was on them like white on rice, but in a thoughtful, smart way. He was a bright guy, and he's done things for people in the state that benefited from it, and they'll never know his name.
Yeah, that's a good legacy when someone you're doing things for them that they don't even realize that you had a role in that, because it sounds like one of these guys that just went about his business very quietly, acted in everyone's best interest, didn't want the spotlight, didn't want the accolades that went along with it, but just maybe his reward, Senator, was knowing that he did the right thing, did good by the people at the end of that day. And for some people, and it sounds like for him, this was the only reward that he wanted.
It really was. He decided not to run again for re-election this year. He said, Joe, I'm done. I've had my time. It's somebody else's turn. He's probably close to 70, maybe a little short of 70. And, Jim's a big guy, like 6'5", probably weighs about 190 pounds, but thin, strapping guy. And he knew, he said, look, I don't need to be in office forever. This is now somebody else's turn. And I'm going to go out on my terms, take care of my wife, take care of my family. And that's really sad. He was such a smart, good friend, a good person. And, he sat next to me in caucus, and we shared stories and talked about a lot of things about life and, government, but, just got to know him really well. And just really going to miss him. He was one of a kind, and I tell you, in a building full of politicians, sometimes, have their own interest at heart. Jim never did. And he was one of just a few people that, I'm really going to miss.
Yeah,
Just a great guy.
Some of the other memories and thoughts that are coming out this morning, Senator, is that you could always bank on his word. When he said something to you, you knew you could take it to the bank as being 100% truthful. You've had some experiences with that, where he was a guy that when he said something, you could take it at face value and know it was accurate.
Absolutely, all the time. But he was smart about it. It wasn't just he made a deal or some kind of a compromise. He said, I'm with you on this issue. I'll work with you. I'll help you. And there are times in the health committee when, again, he would just stand up for the right thing when it was necessary. He had my back, but he had my back in a way that was, thoughtful. And he would push back again. There are tons of special interests that come to testify in Trenton and Washington, wealthy of lobbyists with, $1 million salaries. And Jim was just a regular guy, but smart as a whip. And he knew what to do, when to do it. It's hard to put into words what a great man he was.
Yeah.
And throughout his entire career, as a mayor, coach, just that people knew him as that he would still go down to the boardwalk in Atlantic City, where part of the town he represented, the district represented, and they would, hey, Mayor Whalen, and he hadn't been mayor for 20 years.
That's the impact that he left upon people there, and just a fighter for Jersey, Senator. Is that a fair way to remember him too? Just a guy that rolled up the sleeves and fought hard for us every day.
Yeah, he wasn't you think he was a blue collar guy, but again, he was a school teacher and a coach, and he got into this business because he really did care, and he cared about Atlantic City first, is when he ran for mayor many years ago, and he helped establish Atlantic City. Of course, it fell on hard times since then, and now it's turned the corner. But he was always in their corner, still fighting for what was right, knowing that literally thousands upon thousands of jobs are at stake in Atlantic County, and not just in the casino business, but in every other way. And he represented his area of the state better than anybody ever could.
Wow, that's the ultimate compliment right there. Well, Senator Vitale, thanks for your time this morning, and condolences on the loss of your fellow senator here. And I'm sure we'll talk in the next week or so, or 10 days, about our upcoming softball charity, which is just a couple weeks away. So we'll catch up on that very soon. All right.
Thank you very much, Bert. Have a great day.
You as well. Thank you. All right. I want to thank State Senator Joe Vitale.